Tawni Waters' debut novel, Beauty of the Broken, was released by Simon & Schuster in 2014. In addition to winning the prestigious International Literacy Association's Award for Young Adult Literature, it won the Housatonic Book Award and was named an Exceptional Book of 2015 by the Children's Book Council. It was shortlisted for the Reading the West Book Award and was included in the Kansas State Reading Circle list. It is being adapted for the screen by Jeff Arch, the screenwriter best known for writing Sleepless in Seattle. Her second novel, The Long Ride Home, was released by Sourcebooks Fire in September 2017 to glowing reviews. She is the author of 2 poetry collections, Siren Song, Burlesque Press, and So Speak the Stars, which is forthcoming. Her work was anthologized in Best Travel Writing 2010, The Soul of a Great Traveler, and Monday Nights, and has been published in myriad journals and magazines. She has an MFA in creative writing from the University of New Orleans and teaches creative writing at various universities and writers' retreats throughout the U.S., Europe, and Mexico. Please welcome Tawni Waters.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, Carla. This has been, I'm not going to cry. This has been, without a doubt, some of the best months of my entire life. So, and all of you have made it. So thank you. It's been an honor to be here. This is called Dick Pics. How can we speak of the horrors we have seen? The blissful nights threaded with poetry and moonlight, undone by the ominous ding of our phones. We should have known when we saw you were texting at 2:14 a.m. Who told you that thing was sexy? Whoever it was, shoot her. She was lying, trying to get one over on me. Maybe she wanted money. But let's get real. There is nothing even remotely enticing about your brave little soldier standing alone in bad motel bathroom lighting, looking lost and vaguely embarrassed. Next time you want to express yourself, consider a heart emoji, maybe a nice Wonder Woman meme. How can we unsee the damage you have done? My eyes, we scream. For the love of God and all that's holy, sweet baby Jesus, my eyes. The nuns were wrong. It wasn't you who would go blind if you touched that thing. Our cries of pain rend the night sky. Stars scatter over hillsides, weeping, all because of your wayward genitals. Wolves howl, and not in a good way. Put that thing back in your pants, or so help us. Didn't your mother teach you anything? Were you raised in a barn? I had a serious poem, but I figured we could use a little happiness. I was over there weeping, so. But this is from my book, The Long Ride Home. And all you need to know is my protagonist, Harley, is driving her mother's ashes across the country on a motorcycle. Her mother died 7 months before this, and she's by herself, trying to come to terms with her mother's death. That night, I pitched the tent at a campground. It may not be the safest for a woman to sleep alone outside, but I can't bear the thought of being trapped in another crappy motel room. I try to be smart. I set up close to other campers. To my left, a family with several tents and a passel of kids sits at a picnic table playing cards. To my right, an elderly couple prepares for dinner outside their motorhome. They have a gray and black poodle named Davy Crockett. I know Davy's name because as I'm unzipping the flap to crawl in my tent, he bounds over and humps my leg. Davy Crockett, the woman calls. She stops setting plastic plates on the picnic table long enough to reprimand the offending canine. Stop molesting that sweet child. Come back here. Davy runs to her, but returns to his object of affection, my ankle, the second she turns her back. Davy, yells the man, who is sitting at the table reading a book by the light of a lantern. Get your willy away from that poor girl. Normally, Davy would piss me off, but I'm so desperate for a friend, I smile and say, it's okay. Crouching, I push him gently away and croon, hey, Davy Crockett, how's life? When I stand up, Davy returns to his amorous activities. I'm so sorry, sweetheart, the woman says, stomping over and sweeping the dog into her arms. Davy, you know better. She's wearing a men's flannel shirt, probably belonging to her husband. Her short hair is dyed purplish red. You can tell she used to be pretty. Maybe she still is, and I'm too young to see it. It occurs to me that her husband probably thinks so. It's all right, I say. I get it. I used to have a dog. I had several when Mom was alive, actually. I don't mention that none of them ever carried on an illicit affair with my leg. You by yourself, she asks me, looking me up and down, appraising me. Yeah, I say. My answer clearly does not please her. Have you eaten, she asks. I can tell she's about to go all protective grandma on my ass. I consider lying and saying I have eaten, but hunger and loneliness override my antisocial tendencies. No, I haven't, I say. Well, you're having dinner with us, the woman declares. I'm Jean, by the way. She shifts Davy to one hand and extends the other. I shake it. Her grip is surprisingly strong. And I'm Lawrence, the man calls. That dirty little asshole is Davy Crockett, if you haven't figured that out already. Are you sure you don't mind me eating with you, I ask? It's a silly question, as I'm already following Jean to the picnic table. Of course not, she says over her shoulder. You'll be a welcome change of pace. I get sick of listening to this old bastard drone on and on about airplanes. I was in the Air Force, Lawrence says, beaming as if she has paid him a compliment. We sit at the table, which is spread with a bucket of fried chicken, a container of potato salad, and a basket of biscuits that are probably half butter. Mom would kick my ass if she saw me eating this. Lawrence kisses Jean on the cheek. For a second, I imagine Dean and me like them, old, insulting each other, herding horny poodles at a campground. It warms my heart. So what's your name? Lawrence asks me. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Haley, I say. I'm Harley, I say. That's an interesting name, Jean says, and plops several drumsticks onto her plate and passes the bucket to me. I take a breast and wipe my fingers on my jeans. It's a nickname, I say, pointing to my Harley as if it's an explanation enough. My real name is Juliet. I knew a Juliet once, Lawrence says. Second most gorgeous girl I ever saw. Who was the first? Jean asks. Julia Roberts, Lawrence says, and winks. Jean slaps his arm. We pass around the rest of the food and then dig in. I hate to say it, but I am enjoying my foray into unhealthy eating more than I ever dreamed possible. Fried chicken dripping with grease is about 1 billion times better than baked tofu skewers, for the record. So, Juliet, Lawrence says, what's a pretty girl like you doing out here all alone? I consider lying so I won't have to hear someone else say how sorry they are about Mom dying. But with his no-nonsense white buzz cut and still impressive physique, Lawrence looks like the kind of guy who could spot bullshit a mile away. I'm taking my mom's ashes back home. Jean's eyes go soft, but she doesn't say she's sorry. Where's home? She asks. New York, I say. We're quiet for a minute. I watch the moon disappear behind a swath of clouds and emerge again. My mom's death nearly did me in, says Jean softly. She died when I was about your age. Yeah, I say. Yeah, says Jean. Lung cancer. She was really healthy too, didn't smoke, didn't drink. None of us saw it coming. I'm sorry, I say. It feels good to be the one handing out condolences for once. You know, it's been almost 40 years and not a day goes by that I don't miss her, Jean says and sets another chicken breast on my plate even though I'm not halfway through the first one. Eat up, there's plenty. Thanks, I say, wondering if I have to. I'm not sure I can even finish one. How long has it been? Jean asks. Coming up on 7 months, I say. You must be walking around half dead, Jean says and places her hand over mine for a second, then goes back to her dinner. Pretty much, I say. I know when my mom died, it hurt to think of living my whole life without her, Jean tells me. She was going to miss all of the important moments, my wedding, my kids being born. I was afraid that by the time I died and saw her again, I'd be someone she wouldn't even recognize. I nod. I'm worried about those things too, even the part about her not knowing me when she sees me again, because for all my grandstanding about not believing in an afterlife, I hope there is one. But, Jean says, you know what's strange? Every single time something important happened to me, my mom showed me she was nearby. She loved hummingbirds, and on my wedding day, this hummingbird buzzed my head as I said I do. When my son was born, a hummingbird showed up on the windowsill at the hospital. Do you know how rare that is for a hummingbird to sit still like that? No, I say. Oh, they never sit still, Lawrence pipes in. Little bastards are always going, going, going. Jean smiles. Lawrence has feeders for all his hummers around our house. Loves them. They're beautiful, I agree, deciding not to inform them that the word Hummer may mean something very different to the younger generation than it does to them. They are indeed, says Jean. The point is, my mom never really left me. You'll find this out as you move through life. She'll let you know she's around in the oddest ways. I look down at my chicken. She already has, I think, I say. Of course she has, Jean says and touches my hand again. You know, I'm way closer to death now than when my mom left me, and I can tell you that underneath all these wrinkles, I'm still her little girl. Life won't change you as much as you think, at least not the important parts. When you see her again, you'll still be her baby. How do you know I'll see her again? I ask. I expect her to give me some religious diatribe, but she doesn't. Instead, she says, close your eyes. I feel weird, but I do it. A cool breeze brushes my cheeks. I have always believed that the truth lives inside you, she says. I have always followed my heart. That's what Mom did too, I say. Does your heart say your mom is gone forever? She asks. I open my mouth to give her the answer she wants to hear, but I stop. I'm not going to lie to make her feel better. I'm not going to say Mom is still here if she's not. I wait, listening to the wind rustle through the treetops. Behind my closed eyelids, I see Mom's face, smiling. A wave of love washes over me. With it, grief comes too. These things seem to go hand in hand. You pay for love with pain. I'm still not sure it's worth it. I keep listening. I hear familiar music in the distance. For a second, I can't place it. I focus. It's the band Mom loved. Roger's band. The song about Jean-Luc Picard. No one but Mom listens to her little indie band from nowhere, and yet there they are, blaring from the speakers of some motorhome a few hundred yards away. I gasp. The image of Mom remains in my mind's eye, as alive as she was when she was with me. For a second, I'm 100% sure Mom is here. I don't know what happened to her. I don't understand life and death. How could I? I'm a tiny speck of a human on a minuscule dot of a planet in a universe bigger than my ability to comprehend. How could my pea brain possibly grasp the meaning of existence? Still, when I listen to my heart, it knows a soul as beautiful as hers couldn't just up and vanish. She's not gone, I whisper. No, Jean says, and she never will be.